I'm just your average, snack-loving, adventure-chasing golden dog. And guess what? My best friend Dad and I go on the coolest adventures. We've got a big black Jeep named Birdie, a whole world to explore, and, of course, plenty of snacks. Every week is a brand new tail-wagging adventure. You never know what we'll find. Hidden carrots, new friends, maybe even buried treasure. So grab your hat, pack your snacks, and come with us.
Harley and Dad's Backyard Time Machine. It all started with a big cardboard box, a bunch of blinking lights, and Dad's wildest idea yet. That morning, Dad had rolled up the garage door with a determined grin. "Time for a clean-out, buddy," he said, brushing dust off his sleeves. "We've got treasures to uncover." Harley padded in after him, sniffed an old tennis racket, then plopped down with a huff. "This place is just full of junk," he muttered. "No snacks, no adventures, not even a squirrel." Dad laughed. "Junk? This is premium imagination fuel, Harley." Harley raised an eyebrow. "It smells like old shoes." But Dad was already digging through a pile of odds and ends, wires, gears, a toaster with no handle, a blinking bike light, and a salad spinner. Harley watched unimpressed until Dad pulled out a giant cardboard box and held it up like a trophy. "Ta-da!" Dad declared. "What do you see?" asked Dad. "Something to nap in?" Harley guessed. "Nope. I see a time machine." Harley tilted his head. "A what machine?" "A time machine," Dad said, eyes twinkling. "It can take us anywhere in history, back to the days of dinosaurs, forward to the robot-filled future, maybe even the Wild West." Harley blinked. "All that? In that box?" Dad grinned. "With the power of imagination? Absolutely." Dad rolled the cardboard box into the middle of the backyard and started collecting essential equipment. "Time travel needs buttons," he said, taping bottle caps to one side, "and blinking lights." He stuck on a blinking bike light, and very technical dials. He twisted a jar lid until it spun like a wheel. Harley poked his head inside. "It smells like peanut butter and mothballs." "Perfect," said Dad. "That's the smell of science." Harley helped by dragging over a tangled garden hose and an old fan. Dad added a funnel to the top and taped a spatula to the side, just in case we need to flip pancakes in the past. By the time they were done, the backyard was a workshop of imagination. Pots, pans, wires, tennis balls, and a big plastic salad bowl for the control dome. Dad stood back, hands on hips. "Behold, the backyard time machine." Harley squinted. "So we just sit in it and imagine stuff?" "Not just stuff," Dad said, climbing into the box. "Time. Past, present, and future. Close your eyes, push the shiny red button, and hang on tight." Harley hopped in beside him and pushed a crayon-drawn red circle. "Whoosh!" Dad shouted. "Zap!" Harley barked, spinning in a circle. And just like that, the backyard shimmered and the grass disappeared. The backyard time machine buzzed, blinked, and made a dramatic plump sound as it landed. When Harley opened one eye, the backyard was gone. In its place was a jungle of giant ferns and towering trees that looked like broccoli on stilts. The sky above was a weird greenish color, and everything smelled like soggy plants and adventure. Harley sniffed the air. It smells like the garden after a rain, and something big. Dad peeked out from the time machine. Welcome to the Cretaceous period. Watch your step. Some of the locals are extra large. Just then, a shadow moved through the trees. Thump, thump, thump. A triceratops emerged, bigger than Bertie the Jeep, with 3 long horns and a face like a grumpy cow in a helmet. Harley's eyes went huge. Dad, that is not a dog. Dad whispered, no sudden moves. Herbivores are usually friendly. But Harley couldn't help himself. He waggled his tail and barked, Hello, big dinosaur. The Triceratops turned its massive head slowly, blinked once, then let out a loud snorf that sent Harley flying backward into a bush. Maybe don't yell at the dinosaurs, Dad said, helping him up. Noted, Harley muttered, leaves in his ears. Just then, a loud crack echoed through the trees. Dad froze. That wasn't a triceratops. From deeper in the jungle came the sound of a roar. Harley gulped. Is that... A huge tail whipped past. Then the trees parted with a crash, revealing a Tyrannosaurus Rex, stomping through the ferns with tiny arms and a very not tiny mouth full of teeth. Okay, Dad shouted, time to go. Harley grabbed the carrot stick from Dad's vest pocket with his mouth. Snack and run! Snack and run! They leaped back into the cardboard box, frantically mashing the crayon buttons. Activate turbo leaf escape mode, Dad yelled, spinning the jar lid dial. Harley barked, whoosh! The T-Rex roared behind them, and just like that, the jungle shimmered and disappeared. Thud! The backyard time machine rattled, bounced, and skidded to a dusty stop. When Harley opened his eyes, the jungle was gone. In its place was a wide open prairie with golden grasses, wooden fences, and a windmill creaking in the breeze. A tumbleweed rolled slowly past. Harley squinted. Where did all the trees go? Dad dusted off his hat, now a cowboy hat, and grinned. Welcome to the Wild West, partner. Harley looked down. His blue collar had a shiny sheriff's badge clipped to it. I'm the law? He asked, puffing out his chest. The best kind, said Dad. The snack-protectin', adventure-havin' kind. They trotted into their imaginary town, passing Old Birdie's Saloon, Cactus Canyon, and Snackville General Store. Suddenly, Dad spun around and shouted, Bandits! They're after the snack supply! Where? Harley barked, spinning in a circle. Dad held up 2 bananas like pistols. We've got to defend the snacks, Sheriff Harley. Quick, take cover behind that cactus. Harley dove behind a cactus, then popped up and barked. This town ain't big enough for you snack thieves. They rolled, leapt, and galloped across the grass. Dad lassoed a bad guy. Harley chased down a runaway horse. Finally, they regrouped back at the time machine. Dad held up a pouch. We did it, Sheriff. The snacks are safe. He tossed Harley a crunchy carrot stick. Harley caught it midair. Justice tastes delicious. Then, in the distance, a dust storm started brewing. Dad squinted. Looks like it's time to ride off into the sunset. Harley wagged his tail. Where to next, cowboy dad? Dad pushed the button. Harley howled, "Yee-haw!" and the backyard time machine zoomed forward once more. The backyard time machine gave one last shuddering clunk, and everything around them began to glow. Harley peeked out, and his jaw dropped. The grass was gone. In its place was a smooth, silver surface that stretched for miles. Floating walkways twisted through the sky. Shiny towers sparkled like giant treat jars, and zooming through the air were sleek, silent hover cars shaped like bones. The sky was a soft lavender blue with 2 suns and one very cheerful rainbow. "Whoa!" whispered Harley. "Where are we?" Dad straightened his tinfoil tie. "Welcome to the year 4025 in the city of Dogopolis." Right then, a robotic voice buzzed from a passing drone. "Welcome, Supreme Snack Commander Harley." Harley blinked. "Me?" The drone beeped and dropped a peanut butter biscuit into his paw. "Confirmed identity by tail wag," the drone added. Dad pointed ahead. "Look, the Supreme Snack Council is waiting for you." A group of very fancy dogs stood on a glowing stage. One wore a monocle, another had a glittery cape, and a third was juggling bacon strips. They all bowed as Harley approached. "Supreme Snack Commander," said the monocle dog, "we've been expecting you. Today's mission: approve the world's first treat tree forest." Harley's eyes grew wide. "You mean trees that grow snacks?" "Indeed," said the cape dog. "Crunchy branches, chewy bark, and leaves made of jerky." Harley turned to Dad, breathless. "This is the greatest place in the entire timeline." "I told you imagination could take us anywhere," Dad grinned. Harley stepped up to the podium. "I declare every day is nap day, every sidewalk has belly rub stops, and all snacks are free." The crowd of dogs howled with joy. Fireworks exploded, shaped like paw prints and bones. "Time to go, Commander," Dad said, pressing the glowing purple button. "But what about the treat trees?" Harley whined. "I brought one," Dad said, holding up a lollipop-shaped leaf with a wink. Harley took one last look at Dogopolis, then climbed back into the time machine. With a shimmer and a zap, they landed in a puff of dust and grass clippings. Birds chirped, the fence was still crooked, the garden hose was still tangled, but everything felt just a little more magical. Harley flopped on the lawn, tail wagging slowly. Dinosaurs, cowboys, snack trees. That was epic, Dad. Dad sat in the lawn chair beside him. Imagination is better than any real machine. Harley sighed, happy and full. "Tomorrow, I say we build a space rocket." Dad smiled. "Better start saving cardboard." And with the sun setting and the time machine gently creaking in the breeze, Harley closed his eyes and dreamed of a world made entirely of snacks. Best day ever.
What a great day that turned out to be! Best day ever. I can't wait until next week when we go on another adventure. Make sure you click subscribe so you can join me, and like my video too, please, because I sure like you. See you next week, friends.